Have a good time.
Hi, it's Marnie Pearson and Sue Painter back with the online business reality show, Marnie and Sue's Peep shows, where we pull back the curtains on our businesses and our lives and give you an inside track. And it's been a few weeks, so it's good to be back. And we've been to NAMS and had some personal upheavals in our lives and all kinds of stuff in the last couple of weeks. And so, Sue, you want to chime in?
Sure. It's good to see everybody again. And we actually have the date set for next week's Peep Show, too, so we'll let you know about that before we leave. We're going to get right back on our regular schedule, and it will still skip around from day to day because of sometimes I'm on travel or Marnie's on travel, so we have to kind of squeeze around, but we will be here. So so we both went to NAMS, the Novice to Advanced Marketing System conference that has always been twice a year in Atlanta. Now it's going to be once a year in Atlanta, and then in the intervening time it's going to be a virtual conference. So the next time is in August virtually, and the next live conference is next April. Always in Atlanta, and always filled with a lot of people in the online marketing world. You can learn all kinds of new stuff. So we thought we might talk about some of the things we learned there, and Marnie was going to talk about a little tip for how to look at how you title your Kindle books, right, Marnie? So you want to talk about that one?
Yeah, I think is it Brian, what's his last name, Johnson? Oh, anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, he looks like Kramer off of Seinfeld. So felt like I was learning internet marketing from Kramer. He was talking about how you could research the categories and find the ones that, find the books that are selling the most. So you go in and you look at like the rank on the book, where it is overall on Amazon and where it is in its category. So if it's like top of its category and if it's top, and you're looking for the popular books so that you know the popular subjects to write about. And then let's say you found out that he had an example of fruit smoothies or something like that. Lose weight with fruit smoothies or something. And so he did, you know, where you start typing to search on Amazon, and if you typed in smoothie or a smoothie, you know, smoothie A, smoothie B, smoothie, and start looking at what the popular searches are, the ones that are coming up top. It's not alphabetized, so he's saying the ones that are coming up higher are probably things people search on the most.
Yeah.
So that would give you a good idea of what you could put into your title. So if you found out smoothies for weight loss was something that popped up, then you could put that into the title of your book.
I think that's cool. And that is a cool thing to just say smoothies A, smoothies B, smoothies C, and see what comes up underneath there. You know, people use Amazon as a search engine just like they use Google or Bing as a search engine, and I don't really think about that very much. I should probably think about it more. So that's a cool tip. Cool tip.
I like that one.
I know. So what I did was I went around from session to session. Let's see if I can pull this up. And I did actually notes on my phone because I'm getting away. I don't like to have to carry big things to take notes on anymore. So I won't go through all these because it'd take all day. But a few of them that I heard that I have not been doing, I think I might try, is somebody said that, you know, I do webinars all the time in order to list build and in order to also do sales to product, as do you, Marnie. And one person was saying, you know, quit creating all kinds of different content and quit creating like a new webinar every week or every other week. Instead, get your baseline best webinar that is really focused in on what it is that you do, and repeat that webinar week after week after week after week, and keep pushing it out there and pushing it out there and pushing it out there, because it's so hard right now to get visibility for webinars because there's so many of them that if you like sing that Johnny One note, you know, you're like, oh, and you never come off that note, then people will eventually hear it if they didn't hear it the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth time. And, you know, I've always thought, ooh, well, is that being lazy? But actually, from a marketing standpoint, it might be pretty smart. So I think I might try that and just keep on doing some repeat webinars because, gosh knows, I have tons of content, as do you, Marnie, right? Mm-hmm. So that was one idea that I liked, that I thought was cool. And then another one that I thought was cool from my phone list here is, we have to work in, when we work with prospects and we work with people who we're wanting them to take an action, but they haven't yet taken an action, there is this mental behavioral thing called behavioral inertia. So if you have a cold list and that list has not really been opening your emails, or maybe that list hasn't been buying from you, then the thing about it is you have to overcome that in behavioral inertia. Everybody's behavior is to keep doing exactly what they've been doing already. So if you're fat and you're eating too much sugar, your behavioral inertia is that you're going to continue to eat sugar. If you haven't bought anything for your business to invest in your business and you know you need help, but you just are like, oh, well, I haven't done anything, and then you've got to, we as marketers have to overcome that behavioral inertia. So I've been thinking about that a lot because I know a lot of us have lists who now are less responsive than they were in the past. So that's another thing I brought back from NAMS. So shall we now go to When Life Intervenes, or do you want to pick out a safer topic? We say we're the Peep Show, so I guess now we're really going to pull the curtain back. So I'll go first. So, Marty and I wanted to talk a little bit about When Life Intervenes because we haven't done the Peep Show here in a couple of weeks. And in a way, I kind of feel like no excuses. We just should have done the thing. In fact, we were together at NAMS, and we said we were going to do a Peep Show at NAMS, and I don't even know what happened. We both got busy going around and listening to all these different people and seeing friends we hadn't seen in a long time. And Marnie and I actually never even got the chance to sit and talk except out by the pool one day for maybe 15 minutes, maybe, Marnie, was it? And we had somebody else there, so, it was a three-way conversation, so we couldn't exactly say, shove off, we're going to do a Peep Show now. So we never did what we said we were going to do, and I actually feel guilty about that. I feel like I was responsible to say we need to get it done, and so were you, and that was our bad. So I apologize for that. I don't know if Marnie apologizes, but I apologize for that. Right, Marnie? I do feel bad.
Yeah, we should have done one.
We should have done one. So, and we didn't. But the other thing is that, life will always intervene and bring you crises. And for me, the crisis that happened actually about 4 days before NAMS is that I lost my mama. She passed away. And it might make me cry, so I hope I don't cry. And, she was elderly, and she had dementia, and she had been frail for a number of years. And she was actually in the hospital when she passed away. But at that particular moment in time, nothing was life-threatening, so that, we were thinking that we were at death's door. So it was quite a shock when in the middle of the night, 4 or 5 days before NAMS, I got this phone call from this doctor whom I had just talked to earlier in the evening, and he had assured me that she was doing well and, in fact, was going back home tomorrow. And lo and behold, she died. She passed away. So, Bill and I had to shut everything down and put the dog in the kennel and race to Alabama and take care of arrangements. And then we had NAMS coming up, and it was a real frantic time. So that's one. But nevertheless, it is incumbent on me to keep my ground, no matter what happens, to keep my ground. So, I took care of critical things. I took care of client needs. I took care of my mom's arrangements. I took care of getting us to 3 states in 10 days, and now I'm back home and things are settled back down again. But what I want to say is that consistent thing of this is a part of life, and life waxes and wanes, and it was my mom's time, and she had a wonderful long life. She was almost 90 when she passed away. And, I can't do anything but just call her beloved for the life she had. And, that's all. And then I have to go on about my business. So now I'll turn it over to Marnie, and she can tell you her heartrending story.
I'm not going to tell you too much. No, I've just basically gone through a relationship breakup. So it was something I kind of felt was coming but didn't want to admit it, kind of thing. When I was at NAMS, I was a little bit feeling like, I think something's off, So it came out of the blue, really. I wasn't expecting it too much other than that kind of nudge that something's off. And so, I don't know. I haven't been fit for much over the last 4 or 5 days. This happened Friday. So, but I'm teaching a class this afternoon on 7 storm clouds that block your light, and one of my friends was like, I can't believe you're teaching that. She's one of the few friends that knew I'd gone through this, and it wasn't pretty in the way it happened or anything. It really kind of really did a number on me. She's like, I can't believe you're doing this, and you know, when you're in the middle of a storm cloud, you know. And I started thinking about that and realized this is what keeps me sane, you know,
Yeah.
to keep going with my business, keep doing what I need to do. I mean, it doesn't do any good to go nest, you know. I spent the weekend sort of grieving the thing, and it doesn't really do any good to keep nesting on it and replaying it. And what if I'd done this? And what if he'd done that? And what if, you know, all these questions and stuff, you can just overanalyze yourself to death. And I've kind of discovered that my mind is a dangerous place to nest. It'd be better off to put that mind to good use into business and stuff. And so, anyway, life goes on. You got to keep going. And
Yeah. Well, the point that Marty and I were talking about, we were actually chatting on Facebook about this a little bit last night. And, you know, here's the thing. When we dwell in something bad that has happened to us, whether it's the death of a parent or whether it's the loss of a relationship or whatever else the thing is, because, you know, in life there's always going to be the thing, right? When we dwell in it, we actually increase and highlight our own suffering. And we extend that suffering energy out into the world so that that suffering energy affects others. So when Marty, if Marty sat in a little puddle and said, this should never happen, and the guy's a bugger, and why did it happen to me, and I'll never be the same again, and blah, 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 and she highlights and ruminates and on and on and on about it, she makes herself feel worse, and her energy goes into a downward spiral. So all of those bad things that happen to us in life, they're not an excuse for shutting down and for not continuing to extend our love to others. And they're not an excuse for highlighting and ruminating on our suffering, because when we do that, we crush ourselves and we make ourselves suffer more. So yeah, you know, I could have canceled my presentation at NAMS, which I was excited about doing and had been prepping for a long, long time. I could have said, I could have, you know, gone to the hospital and say exactly what happened and tell me what was wrong and you must have done something. I could have just ground on it, you know. But what does that do but increase my suffering and the suffering of everybody who knew my mom and loved her? It doesn't do any good. It doesn't preserve us. It doesn't send us back toward the light and toward love. It creates a downward spiral into even more suffering. My purpose in life is not to create more suffering in the world, and I know Marnie's purpose in life is also not to create. She's not about creating more suffering in the world either. So, you know, it doesn't serve. It doesn't serve to grind into the drama with everything we have and cuss fate and wish that it hadn't happened. You can take a breath and you can decide this is something I've got to do something about and stand up and do something in an open-hearted way, or you can just let it go and say that's a part of life, but to grind on it. I know so many people who some little thing happens and, you know, like I had a client the other day who did a photography shoot that she had been really looking forward to for a long time. She hired this photographer who, you know, he was expensive, and she felt like her hair didn't look the way she wanted it to look for this photo shoot. So now she's all about, oh, I should have never done it, the photographer was bad, and I just can't make my hair look good, and I'm ugly no matter what, and she's just like, she's just like beating the crap out of herself and out of this photographer. Well, okay, I understand the photographs are not what she wanted, and either shut up about it or go reshoot them, because if you grind, all you're doing is increasing your suffering about the photographs and increasing the suffering, by the way, of everybody who has to listen to that stuff. So, like, it doesn't serve. It doesn't serve. If we are in life to be loving and compassionate and to build people up, it doesn't serve to tear our own selves down when bad things happen. That's just the deal. So, Marnie, I don't know if you have anything more to say about that. That's my speech for today, I guess. I mean, I feel like I honor my mother more by going out into life and sharing about her life. I wrote a blog post about her where I talked about the 3 things that I learned from her that helped me really build my business. I've had lots and lots of people send me private messages and comment about that blog post. You know, it is incumbent upon us to open our hearts to the bad and the good of life and not shut down when bad things happen, I think. So, Marnie, that's over to you. The mic is over to you.
I really enjoyed listening to that little sermon. That was good. I needed that. That's what I needed. Now, I guess I vacillate between the ruminating thing, and then I go back to, it's for the best. Better to have known this now, know it early, get the situation out. I try to, at least when bad things happen, it's like everything is a compound in one. There may be something really bad in it, but there's something really good in it too. So if I can get myself over to looking for the good in it, and just try to focus on that, I do a lot better, because I'll be a lot more compassionate for other people in the future, and different things, people who go through hard things. So, I mean, there's good to be had even in a suffering situation, and I like your point about it's a choice to suffer, I think. I was kind of thinking that today, that do I have to be miserable? Is that like a rule that I have to be? Can't I be happy where I, can I go ahead and be happy even if this situation is what it is? And
you can really make an effort to land on the side of happiness, no matter what. And sometimes it does take. I mean, I know when my accident happened, and I had this doctor I had never seen before in my life standing over me in the emergency room saying, "Well, Mrs. Painter, this is a devastating injury, and we'll do what we can, but we doubt you're ever going to get out of a wheelchair again." I mean, do you think I was happy in that moment? Hell no. I was beside myself. But I came to learn over long, long months of immobility and then slowly learning to stand again and all that, I had to choose that I was going to work with this and open my heart to it and undergo the suffering that it took to be able to walk again. I couldn't just hate on it. If I was going to hate on it, my cells were not going to support my healing. And so I wanted my cells to support my healing, as you want your cells now, Marnie, to support your healing. And I want my cells to support my healing over the sadness of losing my mom, right? So that is just the way it is in life, seems to me, and we have those choices to make. And I'll tell you another one that I'll bring some levity to the situation. Bill and I, if you guys know me very much on Facebook, you know that Bill and I just bought a new home in Florida, and we moved into it about a week ago. And so when we saw the home, when we walked through it, it had really, really beautiful custom fans and chandeliers and really beautiful lighting that we loved, and it really added to the house, and that was part of what we paid for. And when we had no reason really to go back in the house, and we closed on it, and we walked in after we had the keys, and every one of those fans and chandeliers had been stripped out.
Oh, man.
Thousands and thousands of dollars, thousands of dollars. And you would not believe, instead of this big, beautiful, huge chandelier that was in the dining room, I'm going to see if I can turn this. You won't believe what they put in its place. Let me see if I can make the camera show it. I don't know if I can. Wait a minute. See that one little thing hanging down? That one little light in the middle of the picture? Yeah. That's what they left. One tiny little downlight that would hang over a kitchen island. That's what's in place of the chandelier. It's right above my head, so I don't think I can show it on this camera very well. And it probably cost them $13 at Home Depot. And then the entryway, they took out the chandelier and they left nothing at all. So we don't even have a light in the entryway of our brand new, beautiful new home. Now, were we pissed? Yes, we were pissed. Did we go back to them and say, this is wrong, it was not? In real estate, you have to list what you're going to take out of the house, and you have to say, these things do not convey. And my husband's a realtor. I mean, we know about this stuff, right? And they listed none of that. And the pictures that were of the home that they listed in the MLS all had the beautiful fans and the beautiful chandeliers in there. So I feel we were ripped off, and so does my husband, and now we've got to go deal with that. But here's the right way to deal with it and the wrong way to deal with it. I don't want to sit around with my husband at night and say, well, what asses they were, or what butts they were. Well, me. I don't want to have that conversation with him. The conversation we need to have is we're either going to suck it up and say, forget it, and the opportunity is we get to go pick out exactly what we want for this house. Every fan, every light. We get to go pick it all out. Do we have to pay for it? Yes, but we get to pick it all out. Or we need to say, we're going to go file a complaint with the realty board, an ethics complaint against the other realtor, which Bill can do since he is a realtor, or we can hire an attorney and we can take those people to small claims court. Now, I don't know which of those three that we will do, but we probably will do one of those three. But that's a positive forward action. The backwards negative grinding action is for him and me to sit around and say, what, they were just butts and they were just asses, and why would they do that? And they lied and cheated. That doesn't do anything but draw our energy down. But moving forward and saying we're going to handle this and this is what we've decided to do, that's a forward moving energy. So that's a funny story. It's not quite relationship and death. But it certainly did. When we walked in the house, the first clue was we tried to turn on the entryway light because it was late at night when we closed, and we were excited, and we went to see the house, and there was no light in the entryway. It was pitch black dark. The chandelier was gone. So that was our first clue. And as we walked through the house, all of these fans and chandeliers were gone. And as you know, that's thousands of dollars, right? So anyway, all we can do is say we're going to take this action, or we're going to decide to leave it go and go pick what we want and call it that, a bad experience and not worth pursuing because it would cost us more money to pursue it than it would to replace the lighting. And probably the couple we bought the house from, they think that. They think we won't pursue it because they think, well, it'll cost them so much to hire an attorney, they may as well go buy the lights. They're counting on that, right? Which pees me off. What is their energy? Their energy is, to me, a lying energy. They have to live with that in their life. I don't have to live with it in my life. So life goes on.
Not really funny, though, Sue. I don't think that's funny.
Funny. I mean, it was quite, well, we were shocked. I mean, who thought? And plus, for Bill to be a realtor and then another realtor to, not be cognizant of that and not, I mean, you have to get along with other realtors in your community, So, at any rate, what can I say? People do sometimes what from your standpoint is a crappy thing. Your guy did a crappy thing, and these people did a crappy thing. Wasn't honest, crappy thing. What can I say? So life goes on. We can open ourselves into what can we do to make it a positive action, which means we can go stand up for ourselves, or we can say, you know what, we're going to have to take $3,000 or ever how much, and we're going to have to go over here to a lighting place, and we're going to have to buy beautiful things that we'll enjoy. But we can't have this single tiny little light hanging down that looks like the light in some cheap shower in a campground. I mean, it's really ugly. And we have company coming, actually, from Nashville week after next, too. So, of course, we want everything to be fixed up. So life goes on. I don't know what all that has to do about business, except it does have to do with what I call your solid ground of being. So what else, Marnie? We've got a few more minutes, or we can see if there's any questions. Do we have anybody watching that has a question for us?
Oh, let me go back and see. I think it does. All of that does have to do with business, though, because it can suck the energy out of your business.
Yeah, it can.
A lot of people will just quit and
yeah,
go off and go to Recluseville or whatever during a hard time.
Right.
I mean, and sometimes life hits you with something that hard that you do have to do that. I mean.
Yeah, I mean, I had to get myself, when Bill and I went to clean out my mom's little apartment in assisted living, I mean, it broke my heart. I cried and cried and cried. That was my day to grieve and cry. I had to, it was very sad. Picking up her glasses and everything was very sad, and it broke my heart. And that's a part of allowing that heartbreak. If you allow it, it gets over faster.
Yeah.
If you ruminate on it,
Yeah, I think it has to be processed and grieved and let go of and everything, but you don't have to overfeed the energy of it.
Right. Sorry, I dropped something on the floor. I was picking it up. For those who want to know, our next Peep Show is going to be this coming Tuesday, the 14th. Tuesday, the 14th at 5 o'clock Eastern, which is a little later than we normally do it. So all you West Coasters should be happy about that. Marnie and I have really busy days, and the only time we could cram it in was 5 o'clock on Tuesday. So that's our next one. And Marnie, do you have any parting words of wisdom or tips or anything you're up to that you want people to know about?
I've got a webinar today on the 7 storm clouds that block your light and how to break through them. Hop on.
That sounds cool. Okay. And where do they go if they want to hop on?
You can go to marniepearson.com, and down on my calendar I have my upcoming events and stuff.
Okay. And let's see, what do I have going on? I've got a lot going on, but one thing, I just did a little video. I did a master class last week about what to do to re-engage your clients and prospects when your business is slow. And that's part of a 7-step system that I teach called the Business Renovation Blueprint. Step 5 is re-engagement. So I talk about re-engagement strategies in that call and give you a copy of the blueprint and have a little matrix of what re-engagement strategy will work with the 5 groups of people that you want to re-engage. So if that will be helpful to you, go to my, well, if that'll be helpful to you and you want the link to look at that masterclass replay, just email me at sue@confidentmarketer.com because it's not yet up on the website, and I'll give you the link. And for you guys who are watching the show, who knows, maybe I'll give you some kind of little coupon code to use or something. So that's for me. So Marnie, I'm so glad to be doing this again with you. I've missed it, and I've missed you, and I'm sorry about your heartache, and I hope that it gets better soon. And I think maybe you just need to go off on vacation somewhere and go find yourself a good-looking Italian guy or whatever and have a good time for the weekend and enjoy yourself, and then come back and get straight back to business and go make your next 6 figures.
Sounds like a good plan. Yeah.
Yeah. We will see you guys next week on Tuesday. It's delightful to be here again. Take care, everybody.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.